Now, if you don't know what Pleiades is, if you look up in the sky at night, on a clear night, you can actually see it. You got the Big Dipper, which is a part of the Pleiades. And, you know, they got different names for it. But you can search this out even with a telescope. Let's go to Job chapter 9, verse 7. Job chapter 9, verse 7. And it reads, which cometh the sun, and it riseth not, and filleth up the stars, which alone spreadeth out the heavens, and treadeth upon the waves of the sea, which maketh Arcturus. There it is again. Now, Arcturus is a bright star that can only be seen around autumn, around the autumn time. So around September, August, you can see Arcturus. It is a bright star with a little bitty star next to it. That's called Arcturus. Then you have the Orion, and then you have Pleiades, and the chambers of the south. So where are these things located? South of the earth. The Most High is giving you directions, locations, and he's telling you the description of what they could do. So the influences of these stars help us create our calendars. So the Most High knows everything. He knows everything about space that was created. Let's go to Psalms 147. Psalms 147 and verse 4. He telleth the number of the stars. He calleth them all by their names. So every star has a name that the Most High has called it. Great is our power, and of great power his understanding is infinite. The Most High lifteth up the meek. He casteth the wicked down to the ground. The Most High wants to give us his wisdom so we can prepare ourselves for his feast days, for his coming. All of this has a sequence to us having wisdom and understanding what he's bringing. Now, we're going to go now to the historical part of this class, and I want to take you to 2 Kings. And I brought out the Pleiades, the Orion, the Arcturus, all for this reason that I'm about to go into. Let's go to 2 Kings, and you're going to see how off our people were, because from these stars, like I said, the world, even of ancient times, believe that the influences of demons and angels came from this. And it's partially true, but they started worshiping these things, okay, just like today. People that call themselves the illuminated ones, the Illuminati, they think that they are the all-knowing, that they know about all the stars in heaven. They have a telescope in the Vatican called the Great Satan. 2 Kings chapter 17 and verse 15. 2 Kings chapter 17 and verse 15. And let's read the 16. And they, who are the 12 tribes of Israel, and they rejected his statutes and his covenants that he made with their fathers, and his testimony which he testified against them. And they followed vanity and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Most High had charged them that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Most High, their power, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served Baal. The calves are not just cows. The cows represent the stars of heaven. They have a star. In the ancient days, they called it Taurus. And when you get into astrology, Taurus represent the bull that's in the sky, the stars. So they were worshiping a bull in the sky by building these calves. Okay, so it's much deeper than what we thought. We thought it was just 2 cows and they were false images. They were false images, but they were worshipers of the stars. This is why the Most High said, worship me only. Everything else is just something that speaks to tell you about me. Just like the ocean, just like the wind, the clouds. We don't worship those things. And he told us that in Exodus. Let's jump over to verse 19. 2 Kings chapter 19. Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Most High, their power. So if Judah fell, guess what happened to the rest of the children of Israel? They all fell, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. And the Most High rejected all the seed of Israel and afflicted them and delivered them into the hand of the spoilers until he had cast them out of his sight. Let's read to verse 23. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king, and Jeroboam and drove Israel from following the Most High, and made them a sin, a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. They departed not from them until the Most High removed Israel out of his sight. As he had said by all his servants the prophets, so was Israel carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. Pleiades is also called the Taurus, just so you know, the bull. Let's drop down to verse 33. So all of Israel were worshiping the stars at this time. The Assyrians worshiped the stars, and all of Israel followed their gods. So we fell in love with the stars, because what do we always talk about when we see UFOs? Oh, there's angels in the sky, right? Of course, they seeing them too, so they start worshiping those things that are bright in the sky. That's part of the host of heaven. We're not supposed to worship them. Let's drop down to verse 33. They feared the Most High and served their own gods after the manner of the nations, whom they carried away from thence. Unto this day they do after the former manners. They fear not the Most High, neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law and commandment which the Most High commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel. So if you read this whole chapter, you'll notice that Assyria took them into captivity and took them out of their land and put them in Samaria. Because we were worshiping false gods, we opened up our minds to demons. This is what happened. One of the main gods that we was following of the Assyrian gods was Asherah. 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 Any of y'all ever saw the movie Mission to Mars with Don Cheadle? Any of y'all ever seen that movie? Mission to Mars. A bunch of astronauts, they go to Mars, and they end up getting kind of space wrecked up there, and they end up having a encounter. They go into the spaceship that's a big space, and inside they run into what they call their ancestor, and it was a woman alien, and she's sitting there feeling for them and having sympathy for them. That's Asherah.
That DNA looks human.
No, it's not. It's missing the last pair of chromosomes, see?
It's close. It's damn close. Look. Is that what I think it is?
Yeah. It's Mars.
So if you watch the movie, you don't understand that. You ain't going to know why this movie's so popular. It was worshiping of this particular god, Asherah. She was a great goddess in the ancient Semitic religion. As the Hittites, they worship Asherah. You had the Amorites, they worship Asherah. You had the early Mesopotamians, they worshiped Asherah. And significantly, the Most High and Asherah were like a consorted pair in ancient Israel and Judah. So this is what you see in 2 Kings. They stopped worshiping the enforcer, which was Yahweh, and they started worshiping the feminine god, who was more likely to take them in and hug them. And this was a false god that they were following. All right? Don't lose your way because I said that. But this is what happened. So Asherah was a feminine vibration from the stars. It was worshipped by the Mesopotamians. So this is what Abraham got away from dealing with his father. Terah, those that were in Canaan were also worshiping this particular god. Sodom and Gomorrah, they worshiped the vibration of Asherah. This is where homosexuality came from, the feminine vibration. So while the Most High Yahweh was masculine with the authoritative law that was to be enforced on the earth, you had Asherah pushing that vibration of a false image and the people following it. When the Israelites went into captivity, they dealt with the gods of the other nations, and those nations worshiped the stars. That was one of the biggest things they did. This is when the Israelites started to speak against their traditions. They started turning towards negative spirits, and this is when Jeremiah came on the scene and started teaching things against the Israelites. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 2. So you have some understanding why our forefathers were saying, don't turn to false images, because what it was the host of heaven that they was following. And that's why we have to be so straight, cut and narrow when we're dealing with our people and they speak on astrology or reading about their fortune, because it's taking you right back to that narrative of false images that are in the stars. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 20. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 20. For of old time I have broken thy yoke and burst thy bands, and thou sayest, I will not transgress, when upon every high hill and under every green tree thou wanderest, playing the harlot. Why were they under every high hill? Because they could see the stars. Okay? Remember in the New Testament in Acts chapter 19 where Paul went to Mars Hill? Why do you think it was called Mars Hill? They were worshiping the stars up there. Verse 21, yet I have planted thee a noble vine, holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? For though thou wash thee with nitrates and take thee much soap, yet thine iniquity is marked before me, saith the Most High of Hosts. How canst thou say, I am not polluted, I have not gone after Baal? See thy way in the valley, know what thou hast done. Thou art a swift dromedary, traversing her ways. So the Most High is getting on Israel, and he's showing you how bad Israel had gotten. They were worshiping religions under every green tree. So what this brought about was another Savior to come and rescue Israel. And the Savior came in the form of King Hezekiah. So when King Hezekiah came, this is what he did. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 18 and 1. He came to deal with our people worshiping the stars. Now you understand why Egypt fell, why the Aztecs, the Incas, and the Mayas fell, why all these kingdoms fell. Babylon, the Greeks, and this is why America is going to fall. They got our people worshiping the stars too. What do you see in New York when you go to Wall Street down there? You see the great bull, Taurus. Their money is given to the bull, the stars. 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 1. 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the 3rd year of Hosea, son of Elah, king of Israel, that Hezekiah, the son of Ahaz, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 and 5 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 20 and 9 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Abi, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Most High, according to all that David his father did. He removed the high places and broke the images. See, every green tree, that's where the images were, on the mountains. And he cut down thy groves and broke in pieces the brazen serpent that Moses had made. Why did he break that down? Because people started worshiping the serpent, not as when Moses brought it, but as the stars were. If you look up at Pleiades, it resembles a snake. And the people made an image of a snake to represent the gods of the heavens, the host of the heavens, instead of the Most High. For unto those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it, and he called it Nehushtan. He trusted in the Most High of hosts of Israel, so that after him was none like him among all the kings of Judah, nor any that were before him. For he clave to the Most High, and departed not from following him, but kept his commandments, which the Most High commanded Moses. See that? So this is what Hezekiah did. Hezekiah destroys the idols of false gods, and because he destroys false gods and idols, the Most High starts to listen to him. The Most High hears his prayer, and the Most High responds with his answer through his prophet Isaiah that he would destroy the Assyrians, who are all idol worshippers. Let's go to Isaiah. Let's show you. Isaiah was during that day and time too. It's interesting history when you understand what it was all about, and this has something to do with Enoch too, because even that changed with the watchers coming down. The brothers of Israel, they started worshiping the angels, the book of Enoch, because they had dealings with those from the stars, right? Isaiah 46:9. It says, remember the former things of old, for I am Yahweh, and there is none else. I am Yahweh, Elohim, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So the Most High stands above all. He is the king of the whole universe, Yahweh. Let's go back to 2 Kings, and let's go to 19, because, like I said, Hezekiah prayed a prayer, and then the Most High responded. And this hadn't happened in such a long time, but now that he was keeping the commandments and destroying idols, the Most High said something to Hezekiah. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 19 and verse 32. And it reads, therefore, thus saith the Most High concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not come into the city, nor shoot an arrow there, nor come before it with shield, nor cast a bank against it. By the way that he came, by the same shall he return, and shall not come into the city, saith the Most High. For I will defend this city to save it for mine own sake, and for my servant David's sake. And it came to pass that night that the angel of the Most High went out and smite in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000. And when they arose early in the morning, behold, they were all dead corpses. So Sennacherib, king of Assyria, departed and went and returned and dwelt at Nineveh. So he ran. See that? And it came to pass as he was worshiping in the house of Nisroch, that snake, his god, that Adremelech and Sherazah, his sons, smite him with the sword. And they escaped into the land of Armenia. That Esarhaddon, his son, reigned in his stead. So now we see why all this is. It was a fight against the gods of heaven, the host of heaven. All right? Our people were going off. So Hezekiah did many wonderful works. And his son Manasseh, that was his son, Hezekiah's son, Manasseh came, he was born, and then he came and did just the opposite of what his father did, to raise back up idols. And that's something. Look at 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 21. 2 Kings chapter 20 and 21, one chapter over, it reads, and Hezekiah slept with his fathers and Manasseh the son reigned in his stead. Now this is the same Manasseh who repented at the end of his life because he had brought much evil back to Israel and undid everything his father did. Look at 2 Kings chapter 21 and verse 6. It was like a seesaw, back and forth. 2 Kings chapter 21 verse 6. And he made his son pass through the fire and observed times and used enchantments and dealt with familiar spirits and wizards. He wrought much wickedness in the sight of the Most High to provoke him to anger. He was dealing with familiar spirits, psychics, and wizards, all the things that went against the Most High. Manasseh was doing it. Let's drop down to verse 9. But they hearkened not, and Manasseh seduced them to do more evil than did the nations, whom the Most High destroyed before the children of Israel. So Manasseh was causing his people to sin even more. See that? So he did evil in the sight of the Most High. When he figured out that his evil offended the Most High, he finally repented with the prayer of Manasseh that you see in the book of the Apocrypha. That's what that prayer is all about. He repented for what he did to his brothers and sisters. The Most High blessed him with a son at the end of his life who became king after the death of Manasseh.
He was blessed with a son named Ammon, who was also another wicked king. And this wicked king reigned for a very short time, and he had a son named Josiah.
He was 8 years old. He was a king that was 8 years old. How about that? Let's read 2 Kings chapter 21. 2 Kings chapter 21, verse 26. And he was buried in his sepulchre in the garden of Uzzah. And Josiah, his son, reigned in his stead. 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 1. Let's read. Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 31 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jedediah, the daughter of Adiah of Boscath. So after his death, Josiah was born. He became king at 8 years old. So who reigns over a nation when the king is just a child? The high priest reigns. So the high priest can wield and control this child. And if he can wield and control this child, the high priest can control the armies. He can control the priest soldiers of the temple. He can control everything. This is what we have to understand. When he controls everything, then he could guide everybody in the direction of the Most High. Mashiach was involved in all of these things. Just like the angels that came down was a lion spirit and one, these vessels were chosen for Yahushua to use to bring forth the kingdom back to him. So Hezekiah was not only guiding this 8-year-old Josiah, but at the same time, when you have an 8-year-old, what are you going to do? He was nurturing this young man. He was feeding this young man. He was protecting this young man. All the things that a father would do with a child, this is what the high priest was doing. He did just like Eli did with the prophet Samuel. The high priest Eli guided the prophet Samuel. 2 Kings, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 22, verse 4. It reads, Go up to Hezekiah, the high priest, that he may sum the silver which is brought into the house of the Most High, which the keepers of the door have gathered of the people. And let them deliver it into the hands of the doers of the work, that have the oversight of the house of the Most High. And let them give it to the doers of the work, just like we read in James 1, it's to the doers of the law, which is in the house of the Most High, to repair the breaches of the house, unto carpenters and builders and masons, and to buy timber and hewn stone to repair the house. Howbeit there was no reckoning made with them of the money that was delivered into their hand, because they dealt faithfully. And Hezekiah the high priest said unto Shaphan and the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Most High, because all the blasphemers, the idol worshippers, have forgotten the Most High. And Hezekiah gave the book to Shaphan and read it. Remember, Manasseh destroyed everything that King David had. The temple, Everything that Solomon had, all the kings of Israel, Manasseh destroyed everything. So they had to go and find everything again. So he found the book of the law. Let's read from 9 down to 14. And Shaphan the scribe came to the king and brought the king word again and said, Thy servants have gathered the money that was found in the house and have delivered it into the band of them that do thy work, that has the oversight of the house of the Most High. And Shaphan the scribe showed the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest hath delivered me a book. And Shaphan read it before the king. And it came to pass, when the king had heard the words of the book of the law, that he rent his clothes. And the king commanded Hilkiah the priest, the Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, the Akbor, the son of Micaiah, and Shaphan, the scribe, the Asaiah, a servant of the king, saying, Go ye inquire of the Most High for me and for the people, and for all of Judah, concerning the words of this book that is found. For great is the wrath of the Most High that is kindled against us, because our fathers have not hearkened unto the words of this book, to do according to all that which is written concerning us. So Hilkiah the priest, and Ahikam, and Akbor, and Shaphan, and Asaiah went into Hodo, the prophetess, the wife of Shallum, the son of Tikka, the son of Haras, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college, and they communed with her. We stop right there. So as you can see, they found the book of the law. And they needed to make changes quickly, because all this time, all they were around was blasphemers, idol worshippers, stargazers. This is all was around them. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 23, and let's read verse 1. 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 1. I want y'all to see this history. And the king sent, and they gathered unto him all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem. And the king went up into the house of the Most High, and all the men of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests, and the prophets, and all the people, both small and great. And he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant, which was found in the house of the Most High, just like Nehemiah did before. Hilkiah and the priest are doing the same thing that Nehemiah and Ezra was doing before. And the king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before the Most High, to walk after the Most High, and to keep his commandments, his testimonies, his statutes, with all their heart and all their soul, to perform the words of this covenant that were written in this book. And all the people stood to the covenant. And the king commanded Hilkiah, the high priest, and the priest of the second order, and the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of the Most High all the vessels that were made for Baal, and for the grove, and for all the hosts of heaven. See that? And he burnt them without Jerusalem in the fields of Kidron, and carried the ashes of them unto Bethel. So what happened? Everything was burnt up. And he put down the idolatrous priests. Now these were kings, these were priests of Judah, from the tribe of Judah. They became idolatry priests, whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in the high places. In the cities of Judah, in the places round about Jerusalem, them also that burnt incense unto Baal, to the sun, and to the moon, and to the planets, and to all the host of heaven. So our people were totally going off. Totally going off. So what happened? So Hilkiah, the high priest, destroyed every single temple, every standing stone, every priesthood of idol worshippers. You know, the planets, false gods, the host of heaven. He destroyed all the idol worshippers in an effort of having only one temple, which was the temple of the Most High in Jerusalem. This is how all this got started. Their books got destroyed. Any book that had any kind of contact with angels or demons, that got taken out. They were strictly going off of the book of the law. That's why I said this is before the Septuagint. The book of Enoch may not have been in this book, only because our people had gone off so bad, and they started worshiping these angels even during this time. Any book that we may have had regarding the stars of heaven got yanked. King Hezekiah. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 23, and let's read verse 7. And he broke down the houses of the Sodomites. See, there's Asherah. The Sodomites, they had that feminine spirit on them. All right, homosexuality. And they broke down the houses of the Sodomites that were by the house of the Most High, where the women wove hanging for the girl. I mean, this spirit is all over the earth right now. I mean, ain't nowhere you go without seeing a Sodomite. Look at P. Diddy, Sodom. All these Sodomites, man, they all coming out. You know, T.D. Jakes and what's the producer name down in Atlanta? I can't remember his name. You know, all these people being Sodomites, man, they got to come out of this wickedness. And he brought all the priests out of the cities of Judah and defiled the high places where the priests had burned incense from Geba to Beersheba, and broke down the high places of the gates that were in the entering of the gate of Joshua, the governor of the city, which were on man's left hand at the gate of the city. Nevertheless, the priests of the high places came not up to the altar of the Most High in Jerusalem, but they did eat of the unclean bread among their brethren. And he defiled Topheth, which is in the valley of the children of Haman, that no man might make his son or his daughter to pass through the fire of Molech. And he took away the horses that the king of Judah had given to the son at the entering of the house of the Most High by the chamber of the Nathan-Melech and the chamberlain, which was in the suburbs, and burnt the chariots of the sun with fire. Look at that. So even in the suburbs where the Levites were, they had went to the wayside, some of them. So if you read this whole chapter all the way to the 24th verse, it'll show you how every altar was destroyed. They just went through the whole city, destroying everything. Even in Samaria, they were destroying things. They were burning men's bones up. You know, they were burning up priests. They were burning everything, man. They were just taking out everything. This is when the book of the law was put together, and all the books, like I said, like Enoch, Jasher, any book dealing with negative contact with angelic influences on the left-hand side was put away or burned. They wanted to do away with all of that witchcraft. So the heathen festivals, if you look at the heathen festivals like Halloween and Thanksgiving, they're always opposite of our feast days, if you notice. And during those days, they did the same thing. And this was in the land of Israel. The symbols had different meanings of our meanings. They would use the host of heaven. They would use full moons. They would use even crescent moons. They would use Pleiades, Orion, the Big Dipper to bring forth their festivals, just like today, just like Easter today. So these who believed in the moon of Israel believed that the angels or the host of heaven used the moon as a portal to come in and out of the earth. This is what they believed. If you notice, all the angels in the scriptures, they never give their name unless they're one of the top angels, one of the top of the 7 angels. Okay, Gabriel, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, you know, those are the ones who give their names. But the other angels never tell anyone their names, especially if it's Yahweh. He never reveals his name. He just says, I am of the Most High. But there was portals for them to come through. And that's what NASA is trying to figure out now with the UFOs, that there's portals. And this is what CERN was trying to open. What it's known for is crushing atoms, scientifically crushing atoms, right, to help dark forces enter into the earth. Jacob saw, when you see Jacob's ladder, Jacob saw this portal. And after seeing it, he erected a standing altar or a standing stone to the Most High, because he said he witnessed the presence of the Most High Spirit, or servants of the Most High ascending and descending from the heavens.
High above the earth, grouped together with no explanation. These clips show what's being described as swarms of UFOs. Earlier this year in Seoul in South Korea, a crowd gathers to stare up beyond the skyscrapers into the sky. A group of objects hover above the centre of the city for a few seconds, then they disappear. In Mexico 3 years earlier, a very similar sight. Clearer this time, the group of white objects are baffling the people below.
Mira las esferas. Son un chorro. Aquí arriba. ¿Ya las viste? Qué maravilla, ¿verdad?
Zooming in still closer, we find that there are even smaller groupings. Over New York City last year, what looks at first like the vapour trails of aeroplanes. But closer inspection reveals there are dozens of apparent objects, seemingly arranged in some sort of formation. Just before the footage comes to an end, one of the objects appears to come much closer.
Let's go to Genesis chapter 28. Genesis chapter 28, verse 12. And the scriptures read, "And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of the Most High ascending and descending on it. And behold, the Most High stood above it and said, I am the Most High of Abraham thy father, and the Most High of Isaac. And the land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed." And so Jacob saw the Most High servants going to and fro in the earth. Look at verse 14. "And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all the families of the earth be blessed." So was this a portal? I mean, obviously it was. A portal to the heavens. When Elijah left the earth, he saw a chariot of fire coming from the heavens. There is a portal up there. When NASA, when they sent the Apollo up to the moon, they sent at least, I think there was 20 Apollo trips to the moon from the 1960s to around 1975. There was like all these different programs of the Apollo going to the moon. Most of those were unmanned missions. And the last one was said to be a hoax. And the hoax was because they were trying to go to the moon to investigate a cigar-shaped object that was located on the moon. But here's the thing about every single time they went up or they sent an unmanned ship to the moon, they always saw something that was unidentified in the space of the heavens or near the moon. There was always something tampering with the systems. There's always something messing with the systems to be turned into some form of a malfunction. And they could see it. All the astronauts saw it. They would call it Operation Santa Claus if they saw an orb or something hanging around the ship.
60 seconds. I saw this illumination that was moving with respect to the stars. We were smart enough to not say, Houston, there's a light out there that's following us. So technically it becomes an unidentified flying object.
But they only show you the few seconds of the large glowing orb coming from the lower atmosphere. the cameraman who's operating the space shuttle camera is fully aware that the first object has held its position, and after the large orb has ascended from the lower atmosphere, and the shuttle is moving away from the scene, the cameraman is actually zooming in at the end of the sequence to double check the position of the first luminous orb, and it's a fascinating piece of video.
Operation Santa Claus. So if you watch any program, they say Operation Santa Claus, that's what that's talking about. All right, so that always happens. But when Yahushua come back on the earth, he's going to let the people know things that still exist regarding the places and the influences of the heavens. He's going to tell us all these things about what goes on in the heavens. Let's go to John chapter 14. They just sent another ship up into the heavens, but they have been trying to do it all year. They kept having problems, malfunctions. Because, hey, the Most High is still involved. There are angels. There is such thing as angels. They go to and fro within the earth. John chapter 14, verse 1. John chapter 14, verse 1. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in the Most High, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go, I prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go, ye know, and the way you know. So it's possible we're going to be dwelling in a mansion on this earth, which is the kingdom of the Most High. The host of heaven is real. Not only is it the stars, not only is it the moon and the sun, but the host of heaven, there's angels in the heavens. And the angels are all over every star, every sun, every moon. They're all over the place. That is the throne of the Most High. Let's go to Amos chapter 5. These are mansions of the Most High. I love the way Yahushua put that. There's many mansions. He's being a little comical with it. There's many mansions in the heavens. Amos chapter 5, verse 8. It reads, Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion. So the 7 stars is Pleiades. Now we can see it with the naked eye on a clear night. And a lot of times you won't see 7, you might see 6, but there is a 7th one that's kind of faint. So that's Pleiades, okay? Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion. Orion, here's the thing. Like I said, he sits on his throne, some on the left-hand side and some on the right. Orion chases Pleiades. I'll say it again. Orion chases Pleiades. So if you're looking up in the sky and you see Pleiades, guess what's on the left-hand side? Orion. It says, and turneth the shadow of death into the morning, and maketh the day dark with night. They calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Most High is his name, so the Most High creates these things. Remember, Pleiades have sweet influences on the earth. And to be sweet, that's good intentions. But people take that and they switch it around to make them bad intentions. So the 7 stars are what the astronomers call Pleiades, which is and the Most High also calls it Pleiades, which is the star cluster that plays a role in time. All the sun, the moon, and the stars are needed to calculate the time. Like I said, Pleiades can be seen every year in the beginning of spring, right around the equinox. And this is how you know that the new moon will come after. if you didn't have someone putting up a website telling you that the equinox is during this time, you would use this method of determining the equinox. You would see these 7 stars in the sky around the springtime. And that will help you. If you look at the book of Enoch, if you have a Sefer, now I don't necessarily go into this, but all of this is a mathematical equation. If you have the book of Enoch, I'm going to read it. This is Enoch chapter 82, verse 7. Enoch chapter 82, verse 7, it says, so that the year is completed in 364 days. All right. Truly had been stated and accurately has been calculated that which is marked down. For the luminaries, the months, the fixed periods, the years, and the days, Uriel has explained to me and communicated to me, whom Yahweh of all creation on my account commanded, according to the might of heaven and the power which is possessed both by night and by day, to explain light to man, of the sun, the moon, and stars, and of all powers of heaven, which are turned with the respective orbs. This is the ordinances of the stars, which set in their places, in their seasons, in their periods, in their days, and in their months. Now, when the equinox comes, the sun also rotates. It doesn't come up like it does in the fall. You'll see it shift to the right and go. It'll come from the east and go over diagonally over you into the west. But in the wintertime, it'll shift to the left. And you can see it if you're outside all the time. You'll see that shift. And you'll see it in the autumn time do the same thing. But all of this represents the new year, which was determined by the reappearing of the stars of Pleiades in the morning skies. Pleiades is used to set the moon count straight. All right? That's why the Most High created it. There's always, around the equinox time, like I saw it yesterday, actually. I was coming home from work, and it doesn't thunder or lightning up north like it does down south. But there was thunder in the sky yesterday, and normally when Pleiades hits the sky during that equinox week, it's like a window. There's always like a low thunder around this time. Always around this time. You always get hail, sleet, snow. Always the weather is funky around this time. It's symbolizing that it's changing. That's why there's always a cold front. Like it'll get real hot, and then boom, it'll get cold right around the equinox time. And people crop sometimes will freeze over and die, and they'll have to regrow their stuff again for the next cropping period before the harvest time. So you have to pay attention to all these things. But if you're not paying attention to that, then you're going to have your feast days totally off. Your Passover might be in the wintertime. It might be totally off. So you have to pay attention to the signs which the Most High gave us through the moon, the new moons, and the sun and the stars. So the 7 stars are what the astronomers, like I said, they call Pleiades. Now the Mayans, the Aztecs, and the Incas, they all worship both the solar and the lunar calendar. All right? But they also believe that all of that was feminine. The Japanese, they also follow the same thing. And they call the Pleiades, the 7 stars, they call it Subaru. You see some of the cars, they call it Subaru. If you look on the Subaru car, and they'll show on the back of the Subaru car, they'll have like 6 stars, and they'll be missing one. But it's actually 7 stars. Another car that represents something of ancient times is Adi, A-U-D-I, Adi. That name of that symbol means Judah. When we went into captivity, under the Assyrian captivity and the Babylonian captivity, that's what they was calling Judah, Adi. So you have 2 cars, Subaru, named after the Pleiades, and you have Adi.
This is a book called Ancient Records of Assyria and Babylonia, Part 2, on page 340. If you go down, notice what they called the kingdoms. If I can get this. In the course of my campaign, Balu, king of Tyre, Mince, which is the name for Manasseh, and King Adi, or Judah, Yehoiada, Yaadi. See that? And this is when we went into captivity in Assyria.
So just so you know, and then if you recognize the 7 stars, Pleiades, recognize the comparison that the Most High also talks about in the book of Revelation. Let's go there real quick. Revelation chapter 1, verse 16, and recognize this. And this is Yahweh Shai, after his description is foretold. Verse 16, it says, and he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp two-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. So what's in the star in his hand? 7 stars, which represent Pleiades, the 7 stars, which represents the 7 churches, which also represents the 7 angels that sit around the Most High. So you see how all this go hand in hand. So the 7 churches sometimes the 7 churches is called the 7 sisters or the 7 virgins. So this is where you get that feminine vibe. Let's go to Tobit chapter 12. Tobit chapter 12 in the Apocrypha. Tobit 12 and 15. And it reads, I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints, and which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One. Then they were both troubled and fell upon their faces, for they feared. But he said unto them, fear not, for it shall go well with you. Praise the Most High, therefore. So the 7 holy angels, even in the scriptures, it says that there's 7 holy angels. And this is where our people got caught up worshiping the host of heaven, because they saw the power of the angels coming to and fro to bring his message, like Gabriel came to Mary, Michael came to Daniel. All right, we see all these angels visiting the earth. Let's go to Revelation chapter 2, verse 1. The scriptures read, unto the angel of the church of Ephesus, write these things, saith he that holdeth the 7 stars in his right hand, who walketh in the midst of the golden candlesticks. So the 7 golden candlesticks, like I said, that represents the churches and the angels. I know thy works and thy labor and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil. And thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not, and hast found them liars. And this goes back to what me and Brother Yahar was talking about earlier. You know, you find these brothers and sisters not doing what they're supposed to do. But the 7 churches is listed in the book of Revelation as Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. All of these are in a line, just like the Pleiades. Now, how is that? How is that? It's in a line. So the consolation group, which is regarding the springtime of the Passover, is a symbol of the resurrection of the Hamashiach and his return. His return is soon to come. Right? It's a message to us. And it's also a message that the Pentecost is coming around. But you have people who are pushing things like Easter and the 4th of July and Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas. You have people pushing those 7 entities, which are false. All right. Let's close out. Let's go to Amos. Let's read Amos chapter 5 again. And we'll close out with this. Also in the book of Maccabees, remember they were worshiping Jupiter. All that deals with the stars. Zeus, that deals with the stars of heaven. All right, they're changing the names of things. Amos chapter 5, Verse 8 again. Seek him that maketh the 7 stars in Orion. So who are we supposed to seek? Orion? The 7 stars? No, he says seek the Most High. And turn the shadow of death into the morning, and maketh the day dark with night. That calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Most High is his name, that strengtheneth the spoiled against the strong, so that the spoiled shall come against the fortress. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. And we'll end with that, and this is what we're supposed to do, speak against all this evil that is in the earth. All right? Are there any questions, statements, or comments about this class, the Host of Heaven?
This is the word of the Lord of hosts. I took you from the pastures and from following the sheep to be prince over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.